get to work and put that lamp in the corner.
I think it ought to go against that wall.
The corner.
The wall.
The corner.
The wall. The corner.
That's better. Get busy now and don't drop anything.
Hey,
They got him and he's still talking.
what's the matter with him? I'm still in one piece.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Don't go away.
Yeah.
Chita, Pepita, and Rosita.
They must be hungry. They all ended neat there.
I don't get it.
Ow! Ooh, you backbiter, that hurts! Shut up! Not so loud!
On this monotonous occasion... Hey. It's momentous. Momentous. Now, what are you giving me 2 words for when I'm having so much trouble with 1? Yeah. Ooh.
Cayenne pepper. That's the stuff. And next we have the crumpasard. Crumpanella.
When watching The Three Stooges, it's hard not to appreciate the comic genius of Moe Howard. Often, watching The Three Stooges goes something like this. Your attention is immediately given to the third stooge, such as Shemp or Curly. It's so hard not to give the third stooge your attention, seeing all the crazy antics that follow them. Sometimes, even Larry is in on the fun. But then, almost out of nowhere, comes a slap.
1, 2, 3, 4. Now get this table set. Go on. Got it. Ow! Did you?
And Moe Howard immediately steals your attention. Moe is one of those big personalities. When he's on screen, he demands attention. Not just from you, but the other Stooges as well.
I'm Halliday.
I'm Taraday. I'm New Year's Day.
By this time, we were well along with our criminal.
Moe was very much the boss of the Stooges, on and off screen. It's interesting to note that the Three Stooges dynamic was similar off screen to how it is on screen. Not to say that Moe was cruel to his partners. Those who knew him often spoke of him as intelligent and soft-spoken. But on screen, Moe was the boss and bully of the group. Despite how rough Moe can be with the other Stooges, you still feel this sense of unity between the Stooges. Even if the Stooges are constantly hitting each other, you still have the sense that they care for each other and that Moe is looking out for his fellow Stooges.
One for all, and every man for himself.
This is odd for a character often seen as a bully, but is an important aspect of Moe that helps tie the Stooges together. Shemp, Larry, and Curly were well known for their ability to improvise. Something that is not often recognized by fans, though, is Moe's incredible ability to improvise. Moe constantly had to improvise around what the other Stooges were doing. Even though there was a script written for every Three Stooges short, almost all the slapstick was completely improvised. Moe always found new creative ways to slap and insult his fellow Stooges.
I didn't mean it, Moe. All right, take it easy, son. I just wanted to ask you a question. What would you rather have? A shoe full of dollar bills or 2 socks of 5s?
I'll take the 2 socks.
You got 'em. Oh! Now you watch your P's and Q's. Oh! Why don't you be careful?
Oh! Drop that ladder before you hurt somebody.
Oh! Oh! Remind me to tear out your Adam's apple.
I'll make a note of it.
Moe and Larry were the only Stooges who were part of the act for the entirety of its 50-year run. As the leader of the group, Moe was key in making that happen. So next time you watch the Stooges, don't forget to appreciate the comic genius that is Moe Howard. Go ahead, laugh at Shemp, laugh at Larry, laugh at Curly, even laugh at Joe and Curly Joe. But don't forget to laugh at the slap that comes next.
Now get this table set. Go on.
Cut it out. Why don't you stay up for him?
Well, Doc, how about it?
This man has a very bad leg.
You're telling me.
The vein in his right leg is greatly enlarged. See here. Midway between the kneecap and the ankle joint, there's an area of great congestion. This vein is the cause of all your trouble. I've never seen a vein like it in my life. It's enormous.
Well, what's the answer, Doc?
I ain't gonna lose my leg, am I, Doc? I've had it ever since I was a little kid.
Oh, of course not. Just go out west, a couple of months, and you'll be just as good as new.
Oh, thanks, Doc. The leg is as good as new. It feels great. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Why not?
A few weeks ago, I made a video discussing the comic genius of Moe Howard, commonly recognized as the first Stooge. Shemp Howard is usually recognized as the second Stooge. I bring this up only because there's heavy debate among the Stooge community about who the first Stooge actually was. I like to think that both Shemp and Moe were the first Stooges in a sense, though. Shemp and Moe, together, along with Ted Healy, started the act that would one day be known as the Three Stooges. Without either of them, there would be no Three Stooges. The point of this video series is to understand the part each of the Stooges played, both on and off screen, in the Three Stooges act. Every time I watch Shemp, I'm surprised at how hard I laugh. No matter how many times I watch these shorts, no matter how well I know the lines, he always surprises me. He's one of the most talented actors I've ever had the privilege to watch on TV. Shemp was definitely the craziest character of the Three Stooges. Don't get me wrong, the other Stooges were definitely crazy too, but Shemp's antics always bring things to the next level. Shemp was an incredible improviser. Emil Sitka, one of the Stooges' supporting actors, explained that you never knew what Shemp was going to do until the camera started rolling. Shemp's witty dialogue is something that always stands out to me. Sometimes it makes sense in a weird way. Sometimes it's so crazy I don't even know what he's saying, but it never fails to make me laugh. Some of the most fun I've had watching the Three Stooges is trying to decipher what Shemp is saying. His dialogue is unusual, but it makes sense in a weird sort of way.
Hey, Larry.
Hi.
How do you like my new outfit?
Where'd that come from?
I don't know. I just rubbed this lamp. The genius appeared, and the next thing I know, I got a new set of threads. Where's Moe?
I guess he's out there.
Wait till I show him. Hey, Moe!
You gotta use this.
Oh, now I can carry it like a toothpick.
Never mind. Porcupine, get some more stuff off the truck. You go in there and help Mr. Bradley. Oh, what's the matter with you?
Let go. You're bending the stripes.
Listen.
No, I got a soft skull, fella. Let me go, will you?
Look out there. Let me go.
You're crushing my eyebrows.
Wherever Shemp goes, destruction seems to follow. Shemp seems to have this incredible ability to make the biggest messes and problems out of the simplest things. While all the Stooges make messes, Shemp seems to push it to the extreme with the destruction he leaves behind. I always find myself gasping for air after watching him get hit on the head with an ironing board or bring down a ceiling.
Service? Come on, service!
Yes, sir. Coming up.
Yes, sir, we have all the service.
That's your service.
Boy, if I hadn't ducked, we'd have collided sure. What a narrow escape.
Hey.
What? You double-crosser! Oh! Oh!
Come on, Shemp, hurry up! Well, this cockeyed thing won't work here. I better nail it to the roof. All right, golly. Don't move around there, but...
You imbecile, leave that alone and come down here.
I'm coming. How do you like that guy, huh?
Now, if you still don't believe me that Shemp is the craziest of the Stooges, just wait until you see him scared. Shemp, as a character, is extremely jumpy and jittery. When Shemp is scared, these characteristics get pushed to the extreme. Shemp always seems to be on the run, sliding around, making the most terrified and funny expressions I've ever seen come from a human being. A lot of my favorite Three Stooges shorts feature Shemp running terrified from Moe or a bad guy.
Ah, Main 2468. Now we'll have action. I got it, operator. It's Main 2... Larry, is that you? No!
Hey, Shemp. They got him and he's still talking.
No! Mo, Larry! Help, police, Marines! It's for you.
Oh, thank you.
Hello? Get funny with me, will you, sucker? I'll show you. Okay, chump. Come out fighting. Never mind. Wait a minute, I'll knock it off. No. Hold him, Larry, that's it. Hold it. Oh. Boy, did I knock that thing off or did I knock it off? I'll say.
Yeah, you knocked it off.
Why, you...
Shemp was known as a kind, loving, and genuine person, never refusing to give a signature to a fan, always willing to entertain the children at parties and family gatherings. He loved to make people laugh, fitting for one of the funniest comic geniuses to have ever lived. I hope that the next time you watch The Three Stooges, you'll be laughing as hard as I do when Shemp finds another 50, loses his head, or runs screaming down a hallway.
Hey, that guy out in the hall looked like Shemp.
By golly, you're right. It was Shemp. I'll get him. Let go of my shoulder. I want to get Shemp.
A tarantula! Get away from me! What's the matter with you? I killed him! What's the matter with you? A field mouse! Stand back, it's liable to bite you. Tarantula? Shot 5 holes in a divot. Get out of here. Come on.
Larry Fine is recognized as the third member of the Three Stooges. He was also the only member of the original Three Stooges that wasn't a Howard brother. Larry Fine joined the Three Stooges act in the late 1920s. He was originally hired to replace Shemp, who was planning on leaving the act for a short time, but Healy eventually decided that Three Stooges were better than Two Stooges, and made the act a trio. Looking at the other Stooges shows how unique Larry is as a character. Moe is the boss and leader of the group. Shemp and Curly act as a sort of foil to Moe. But Larry doesn't do just one thing. He does many things. That is why I describe Larry as the heart of the group. Larry keeps the act balanced. Sometimes, Larry acts as the secondary boss, picking on the third stooge. Other times, Larry is a secondary foil, teaming up with the third stooge. Because of this, Larry's one of the most unpredictable comedic characters. You never know what he's going to do next, and because of this, everything he does is funny.
I'll get some more water and be right back. Oh, darn that door again. And this too.
Valuable antique. You muttonhead.
Oh! Oh! Larry!
I got it. I found a knob.
Good work, kid. A Swiss cheese. Look what you did to the wall. How you going to explain that to Bill?
Woodpeckers. That's a good one, ain't it?
Yeah. Here's a better one.
Yeah? What happens now?
This. Oh. Now go on. Get those boards up there.
Hurry! I can't get it out. Help me, will you? I'm stuck.
Oh! Take it easy, kid. I'll get you out. Your hand all right?
I don't know.
It's all right. Ow!
Give me that. I hope that rings in here.
One might ask, why is Larry always switching sides between Moe and the third stooge? As I stated earlier, it's to maintain the delicate balance that Moe and the third stooge create. Whenever the third stooge is off screen, Larry suddenly becomes a foil, allowing Moe to have someone to pick on. When Moe is off screen, Larry picks on the third stooge to continue the flow of the slapstick. When Moe gets tough on the third stooge, Larry stands up for the third stooge. But when the third stooge's antics get too crazy, both Moe and Larry gang up on him. All of this is to keep a balance between the crazy antics of the third stooge and the controlling nature of Moe. That is the comic genius of Larry. While the other stooges always fill one role within the group, Larry does whatever he has to do to keep the act balanced. That's why Larry is the heart of the group. Without him, the Stooges' act wouldn't work. Larry's what keeps the flow of these shorts alive.
Give me that blowtorch. No! Get my foot out of there. Okay. Now see what you did?
What?
Get out of here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't see that. Oh, no, you don't. Are you here, Mo?
No, I just left.
Oh.
As I stated earlier, Larry is incredibly unpredictable. In fact, probably more so than any of the other Stooges. This is usually because of his constant change in role within the group, but sometimes he's unpredictable just for the sake of being unpredictable. His random smart moments, changes in personality, and even screams never fail to make me laugh.
All right. Break it up. We got work to do, see?
Don't you use that tone of voice to me or I'll...
You'll what?
See that? You want to get us thrown out of the place?
Wait a minute, I got it. This'll fix those rats. Hey, try this.
Ah, Kim and Bertie.
How do you feel? All right? You feel a little dizzy?
Never felt better in my life.
I knew it. I didn't put enough rat poison in this cheese.
Yeah.
That you ignoramuses. They find out we're only carpet layers, they'll go back and grab the real professor, and not only that, they'll shoot us. Now, we gotta fool them, savvy?
You're right. It's our duty to posterior. Wait a minute. Hold still. I'll get it.
Ow! Ow, my nose! Hey, you're in a court, not in the woods, Tarzan. Cut it out.
In the later years of the Three Stooges act, both Champ and Curly had passed away, so Joe Besser came in as the third Stooge. These years, probably more than any other, showcased Larry's adaptability within the group. While Joe acted as a foil to the group, his antics never quite went as far as those of Curly or Champ. Because of this, Larry's character suddenly changed. Larry all of a sudden became the foil of the group. His antics in these final shorts are far crazier than what he ever did with Champ or Curly, showing Larry's commitment to keeping these shorts feeling balanced.
your hands. Because you see, when I was in the ring, they one guy that's with the fitter.
I'll murder you.
Larry was known as a kind man, and believe it or not, a gentleman.
That ain't for us. We're not gentlemen.
Speak for yourself.
Oh!
In his final years, he never denied an interview with a fan, always happy to talk about the Stooges. Next time you watch the Three Stooges, don't be afraid to let your eyes drift a little as Moe and the third Stooge are having an argument. And notice Larry, the faces he makes, the defenses he creates, and the attacks he targets towards the other Stooges. I can guarantee you will laugh.
Tempest's life is at stake?
Oh, get away! Oh, we can't get anywhere this way. Let's crash it. Get on your mark. Get set. Hey, wait a minute. I gotta have a crash helmet. Come on. 1, 2, 2.5.
Curly Howard was the fourth member of the Three Stooges. Curly joined the act in 1932, replacing his older brother Shemp. While there are varying accounts on why Shemp left the Three Stooges act, it is believed that Shemp left due to unfair treatment from the Stooges' boss, Ted Healy, and because his wife insisted that he went out on his own to become a solo comedian. Regardless of why Shemp left the act, Curly ended up taking his place. The act started in 1923, meaning Shemp had been with the act for 9 years before Curly took his place. Only 2 years after Curly joined the act, the Three Stooges started making short films at Columbia. It is evident when you watch the earlier Three Stooges shorts that Curly hadn't quite developed his character yet. In earlier shorts, his voice is pitched slightly lower, and he doesn't act as energetic and wild as he does in later shorts. This may stand out, seeing that Moe and Larry's characters are basically the same as they are in later shorts. But this is no doubt due to the fact that Curly had only been with the act for 2 years at that point. Regardless of differences in his character, though, he was always funny.
I don't see his face.
He's got his back turned. How?
And how? Why, you dummy.
Don't you dare hit me in the head. You know I'm not normal.
Why?
See that?
Curly's quite the crazy character on screen, and while I wouldn't say he's the craziest of the Stooges, that's an honor to give to his brother Shemp with his spontaneous and jittery reactions, Curly's definitely the most childlike of the Stooges, something that results from his craziness. Curly's mannerisms, shaved head, and high-pitched voice all aim to make Curly appear as a child. This is where I make a distinction between being childlike and childish. All of the Stooges are incredibly childish, lacking any sense of maturity, except Larry, who sometimes has random moments of insight. So all the Stooges are childish, but not all of them are childlike. Curly is the only Stooge that goes out of his way to be childlike, which pairs well with the childish personality of the Stooges. Curly's childlike personality and appearance is something the other Stooges reference on an almost constant basis.
We'll need a model. You're just the type. Get up there.
Not me.
Come on.
Oh.
Over down here. Get the pins. Get up here. Put down. It's going.
Look out, you're choking me.
Here. Okay. There we are. There. Perfect 36.
Not a bad joint.
Shh. Remember, you're supposed to be children. Just 3 dumb kids. We get you, boss.
Hey, I relent that.
You relent what?
He called us children.
At your age.
Leave him alone.
Quiet.
Something all the Stooges did well was improvise. There's no doubt about that. But that doesn't diminish the fact that Curly was a great improviser. The random things he says and the odd ways he counters Moe never fail to crack me up.
Ooh, jumping beans.
Hey, wait a minute. I can't find the negative.
How about the positive?
I'm positive about the negative, but I'm a little negative about the positive.
Oh, negative, eh?
No, I'm positive the negative is in the developer.
Your brains need developing.
In 1947, during the filming of Half-Wit's Holiday, Curly suffered a debilitating stroke, forcing him into retirement. With Curly's permission, Moe planned to continue the Three Stooges act. Moe begged older brother Shemp to return to the act, believing him to be the only other person who could play the role of the third Stooge right. Shemp eventually decided he would come back as a favor to Moe and Larry, but this was a great sacrifice on Shemp's part, considering he was one of the most popular solo comedians at the time and actually made more money than the Three Stooges did. But Shemp came back, taking a big pay cut and saving Moe and Larry's jobs. Moe, Shemp, and Larry gave a big portion of their pay each month to Curly to make sure he could pay his hospital bills. Curly never fully recovered from his stroke, but he did recover enough to make a cameo appearance in Hold That Line, the 100th Stooge short. This is one of my favorite Stooge shorts, not only because it had all four of the original Stooges in it, but because it was also the only short that had all three Howard brothers together, Shemp, Moe, and Curly.
Right. We search the train carefully and give everybody a close... Say, what's a good word for scrutiny?
Scrutiny.
Thanks.
I don't see him anywhere. Maybe he's disguised. Psst. I'll bet that's him.
Take it off.
What is that, a Cocker Spaniel?
No, I think it's just a spaniel.
That's not him.
Curly was known as a shy, yet compassionate man with a love of animals, who looked up to and loved his older brothers. During many of Moe and Shemp's first live performances, there was nobody in the audience except for a young Jerome Curly Howard cheering on his brothers. Next time you watch The Stooges, I want you to watch Curly closely. Watch the way he snaps his fingers, nibbles his teeth, or waves at a bowl of soup, and appreciate him for the childlike character he brought to the Stooges.
Mr. Moe, you're accused of assaulting your two roommates with intent to commit mayhem.
You mean murder? Yeah, and he tried to kill us, too.
Quiet!
Mr. Moe, you're accused of assaulting your two roommates with intent to commit mayhem.
You mean murder? And he also tried to kill us, too. Yeah, you ought to hold him on a habeas corpus.
Hey, that's telling them, kid.
Today I want to talk about the fifth member of the Three Stooges, Joe Besser. In the early 1950s, everything seemed to be going well for the Stooges. Moe, Larry, and Shemp were at their comic peak, creating some of the funniest and most iconic Three Stooges shorts, and receiving award after award for best-selling short films. Despite Curly's weakened state due to the stroke suffered years earlier, he was happy. In fact, those who knew Curly often described these years as some of his happiest years. Curly finally found his calling as a family man, the calling he had been searching for his whole life. So, for the first time in quite a few years, everything seemed to be going well for the Three Stooges. In fact, with Curly's recent improvement in health, Moe started throwing the idea around of Curly returning to the act, and Shemp staying with the act, changing the act from the Three Stooges to the Four Stooges. And while this would have been quite the interesting sight for us Stooge fans to see, the idea was short-lived. Curly quickly dismissed the idea, telling Moe he had found his calling in life and he didn't feel the need to return to the act. But sadly for the Stooges, this happy moment was short-lived. Curly's health started to decline again. During the filming of He Cooked His Goose, Curly passed away at the age of 48. This was a hard hit to Moe, Shemp, and Larry. They had lost a close friend. And to Moe and Shemp, a brother. But the Stooges were troopers, and they pushed on through this tough time, continuing to pump out their ever-so-popular short films, But 2 years later, another tragedy struck this comedy team. At the age of 60, Shemp Howard died suddenly of a heart attack. Moe and Larry, just recovering from the grief of Curly's passing, now had to deal with the added anguish and pain of Shemp's passing. Moe, the usually ever-persistent stooge, finally planned on retiring the act, seeing no point in continuing without Shemp. But before Moe and Larry could end the Stooges for good, they had to complete that year's contract with Columbia. According to Moe and Larry's contract, they still had 4 shorts to complete that year before they could leave for good. In order to complete these shorts, new footage of Moe and Larry was recorded with actor Joe Palma standing in for Shemp. This footage was then edited together with older stock footage of Shemp. So despite Shemp's passing, he was still appearing in new Three Stooges shorts. These shorts came to be known as the Fake Shemp shorts. While filming the Fake Shemp shorts, Moe and Larry had a change of heart. They felt they worked well together as a duo and wanted to continue the act as the Two Stooges. But when they presented the idea to Columbia executives, they were famously told, "I'm paying for 3 Stooges, not 2. For the first time, there were no more of the original 3 Stooges for Moe and Larry to turn to for help. They would need to find an outsider to save the act. Enter Joe Besser, a comedian who had his own series of short subjects at Columbia, quite similar to the Stooges' own films. Moe, Larry, and Shemp had actually met Joe Besser before, back when the act was still known as Ted Healy and his Stooges. They once shared the stage with a young Joe Besser while touring the vaudeville circuits. And much later, Shemp and Joe worked alongside each other in Abbott and Costello's Africa Screams. So Joe wasn't a total stranger to Moe and Larry, and on paper, Joe Besser seemed to have everything it took to be a stooge. Despite this, Joe Besser was quite nervous about becoming a stooge. Shemp Howard was, and still is, considered a comic genius, and a rather irreplaceable stooge. Joe Besser feared that the fans wouldn't accept him as a stooge. In his book, Joe Besser wrote, "Would the public accept me as Shemp's replacement? Would Moe and Larry regret bringing me aboard?" As it turned out, my fears were all washed away after my first day in the job. Despite Joe Besser having no slapstick experience or experience working alongside Moe and Larry, Joe Besser actually fit in pretty well with the act. For the first few shorts, Joe Besser didn't engage in any of the slapstick due to his lack of training, but he eventually joined in on the fun with Moe and Larry once he felt comfortable slapping them around and being slapped around himself. But here's where I make a distinction between Shemp Howard and Joe Besser. Shemp loved to be hit. His younger brother Curly also loved to be hit, but Joe Besser hated to be hit. Now, red flags may be going off in your head. A stooge that doesn't like to be hit? That's crazy, I know. But this isn't necessarily a bad thing. Joe's dislike of being hit is reflected in his comic character. The Stooges get into slap-happy fights all the time. Shemp and Curly usually just take the slaps Moe serves them, occasionally hitting back. But Joe Besser can't take a slap. If Moe slaps Joe, you know Joe is going to slap him back. Joe just can't let Moe win any slap battles. If it's an eye poke, Joe is fine. If it's a nose pluck, Joe is also fine. But if it's a slap, Joe will hit back. This is why I would define Joe as the sassy stooge. Joe will always hit back, regardless of who was supposed to win the fight, or if the scene was supposed to end. Joe is bold in that he holds no restraint in slapping back. This really makes Joe feel different as a stooge.
Does barbecues have pits?
Oh.
What are you hitting me for? I didn't say it. He said it.
Oh, you said
No, I did. I didn't.
No. Yes?
Incidentally, do barbecue have pits?
Why,
Not so loud.
Don't tell me. I know how.
Don't yell at
Look,
me.
I-
Don't tell me to stop. Oh! Ooh, that hurts. Ooh.
Get around there, really.
I'm dreaming. Ow, not so hard. Ow, not so hard. Ooh, copy.
This is not the only thing Joe Besser changed about the dynamic of the act. Shemp Howard was known for his quick pacing and snappy dialogue. Joe Besser is slower paced. He takes his time, often overpronouncing words or even slowing down his speech when delivering lines. This is completely different from Shemp and Curly's style of quick pacing. This slows the pacing of the entire act. When comparing these later shorts to earlier shorts like Brideless Groom, it's obvious that these shorts are much slower paced.
Shut up. Big boss. Always tell us what to do. Don't do this, don't do that.
Pardon me. What did you say?
I said, oh, shut up!
Now you know what I mean.
Hey, what do you know? From your pal Felix. Well, wise guy, I got my wish again.
Yeah.
Hey, you. Come on. That belongs to me. You.
He steals from
Yeah,
everybody.
he steals. He's a...
Dry up. Make another wish.
You meanie. I wish that cigar would blow right up in his face. Hey, Mo, I was just thinking...
Every time you think, you weaken the nation. Now shut up and sit down like I told you.
All right, just like you told me, just like you told me.
Joe Besser also changes Larry's position in the trio. While Larry has always been the stooge in the middle and the heart of the action, Larry seems a lot more energetic and crazy in these later shorts. This is because Joe, as a character, is not quite as energetic and wild as Shemp and Curly were, and Larry, as the ultimate balancer of the act, has taken on these more wild and energetic behaviors to keep the act balanced. Sometimes when watching the Joe Besser shorts, Joe almost seems more like the stooge in the middle than Larry, because Larry will just take over with crazy antics and arguments with Mo. It really makes these final shorts feel different.
You dirty double-crosser.
You're a triple crosser.
You stole my girl.
And she was my girl.
Yeah, well, fight for her honor. Put up your hands. Because, you see, when I was in the ring, there was one guy that was the feeder.
I'll murder you.
I forgot to buy the milk.
Oh, you crazy you. You know I can't eat oatmeal without milk. Gee, I wish I had some milk.
Hey, there's a cow out there. What comes from cows?
Steak.
Come on. Milk.
I got my wish again.
Now, Joe Besser isn't as different from previous stooges as you might think. Like Shemp and Curly before him, he was a great improviser. It's not uncommon that I find myself chuckling after some of his exchanges with Mo and Larry.
What are you doing in my girl's house?
Your girl's house? You mean my girl's
You're
house?
both crazy. She's my girl.
You hold your tongue.
I can't. It's too slippery.
Shut up. Superstition.
Oh!
Larry, look.
What's that?
I can't.
Joe, what's the matter?
Nothing. A nice piece of acting, though, isn't it?
Come on, get you.
It's delicious.
Hey, what's the idea of spreading mashed potatoes on your bread? Why don't you use butter?
That's fattening.
Now, the Joe Besser shorts are considered a divisive chapter of the Three Stooges' legacy. Why, you may ask? It is simply because Joe Besser is different from Shemp and Curly. He changes the dynamic that Stooge fans know and love from previous shorts. His style and pacing is very different from Shemp and Curly's. The Joe Besser shorts just feel different in general. It takes time for those who are used to the earlier shorts with Shemp and Curly to adjust to the Joe Besser shorts. Now, I believe that the Stooges were always funny, regardless of who was in the act. I've gotten a good laugh out of each major era in the Three Stooges. For those of you who have trouble enjoying the Joe Besser shorts, I recommend trying to change your perspective. Don't try to enjoy the Besser shorts the same way you would enjoy earlier shorts. Be a little more open to different comedic ideas. Be accepting of differences rather than rejecting differences. And I'm sure that if you do this, like me, you will find Joe Besser to be a really funny stooge. Joe Besser always spoke very highly of his 2 years working alongside Mo and Larry as a stooge. He often labeled that time as a highlight of his career.
Because I never expected to ever be with the Stooges. But it was one of the most beautiful 2 years that I can remember in show business. We had more fun, more laughter amongst ourselves that made the pictures that we did a happy one.
Next time you watch The Stooges, I don't just want you to watch a short from this underrated era of The Stooges, but I want you to appreciate Joe Besser for the unique character he brought to the act. He changed the very fundamentals of the act we all love, giving these shorts a unique perspective on comedy and a unique charm of their own.
Well, his name is John Smith.
Don't tell me he introduced you to Pocahontas.
Somebody told you.
Quiet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Three Stooges Scrapbook.
Larry, Moe, Curly, Joe, they're the funniest guys I know. Golly gee, that's for me. I want to be a stooge. You can be like those three if you don't
And now,
use common sense.
from Hollywood, California, the Three Stooges are on the air.
Hello, everybody. It's a great pleasure on this momentous occasion.
Hey, you're stealing my line.
Okay, say it.
Well, on this monotonous occasion...
Oh, I knew it.
Hey, this is getting monotonous.
It's momentous.
He got it, too.
Today, I want to discuss the sixth and final member of the Three Stooges, Curly Joe DeRita. In late 1957, something happened that would change the course of the Three Stooges forever. The shorts department at Columbia closed, and the Stooges were promptly fired. After 24 years of working at Columbia Studios, the Stooges were kicked to the curb. Short films were out of style, and television has slowly drained the viewership of Three Stooges shorts in theaters over the years. Without a steady source of income, the Stooges feared what the future might have in store for them. While all of this was going on, the Screen Gems department at Columbia had development that would eventually save the Stooges. The first 20 or so Three Stooges shorts made with Curly back in 1934 and 35 were being re-edited and repackaged for television syndication. Before the Stooges knew it, they were popular once again. The Stooges shorts sent out to television stations were doing solid numbers. The only issue? The Stooges made no money from these shorts. Back when they originally signed with Columbia in 1934, television didn't exist yet, meaning the Stooges didn't receive any royalties for these films. Luckily, the Stooges were in demand. Moe decided it was time for the act to go back to its vaudeville roots and make appearances throughout the country to make a living. But sadly, this plan was put to a halt. Joe Besser's wife had become extremely ill. He couldn't go along with Moe and Larry to do live performances because he needed to stay home and nurse his ill wife. Moe and Larry were faced with the dilemma. How were they going to relaunch the Three Stooges without a third Stooge? Well, one day, Larry went to a show and saw Joe DeRita performing an act. He thought he would fit in perfectly with the Stooges. After talking with Moe, Joe DeRita was signed as the sixth and final member of the Three Stooges.
It's great to say hello. Hello, hello, hello. Back again. It's great to say hello. Hello, hello, hello. Back again.
Their first few live appearances went well. The Stooges were incredibly popular, especially with children. But they had a big problem. Kids would come up to Moe and ask, "Where is Curly?" Remember, the only shorts that were broadcast on television at the time were the first 20 or so shorts made with Curly. So those were the only shorts the kids had watched. Children at the time didn't know who Shemp or Joe Besser was. They had only watched the Curly shorts. This is why the most well-known variation of the Three Stooges is Moe, Larry, and Curly, even though the original Three Stooges were Moe, Larry, and Shemp. Moe, Larry, and Curly were the variation that kids in the late 1950s and early 60s were introduced to first. Anyway, Moe was tired of kids asking him where Curly was, so Joe DeRita was nicknamed Curly Joe by Moe, and the kids didn't know the difference. This also solves another issue, because older fans of the Stooges actually confused Joe DeRita with Joe Besser. Now Joe DeRita had a nickname that set him apart from Joe Besser. With the Stooges' newfound popularity, Columbia signed them once again, only this time to work on feature films. A dream come true for the Stooges. The Stooges also started a new cartoon series called The New Three Stooges. Now the Stooges were more popular than ever before. Moe remembers this as a bittersweet moment. Yes, the Stooges had finally found success, but Shemp and Curly, who had worked so hard for many years to keep the act going, weren't there to see the fruits of their labor. This was the time that the Stooges changed from well-known comedians to immortal icons of comedy. Now with the history out of the way, let's dive into what makes Curly Joe a unique Stooge. Like Joe Besser before him, Curly Joe changed the Three Stooges act in a way that really made it feel different. Curly Joe didn't find slapstick funny. I know, it's an odd thing for a Stooge to not like slapstick. And while the Stooges didn't phase out slapstick completely, it was something they rarely relied on from this point forward. This was also due to the fact that their main audience had changed to be mostly children. They didn't want to encourage children to poke each other in the eyes or slap each other around.
Break it up. That's not funny. That's no way to treat a fellow artist. See that? That's my masterpiece, and don't you touch it.
Get away from me.
What do you mean, get away from
There. How do you like that masterpiece?
Oh, yeah. Well, how do you like that? Hey!
How do you like that?
Yeah,
did I? How do you like that?
Wait a minute. You fellas are so uncouth. After all, he is a fellow artist and my friend, and I don't like that. You do enough to him.
Just mind your own business. I'm the chief artist here.
I know you're the chief.
Now, be quiet.
Something that really makes Curly Joe stand apart from previous Stooges is that his character doesn't have as much depth as Shemp or Curly. Shemp was a uniquely crazy and jittery character with a spark of childlike charm. Curly was an incredibly childlike stooge with his own unique brand of craziness. While people often like to joke about Shemp and Curly being simple characters, the truth is that they are actually incredibly complex. The unique perspectives these characters carry and the imaginative and unconventional way they solve problems really make Shemp and Curly quite unique and complex characters. Part of the reason Shemp and Curly are such beloved stooges is that they are these complex and interesting characters, yet they still appear to be simple and basic people, making everyday mistakes. They are masters at making their craft look effortless. Joe Besser was also a fairly complex and interesting stooge, but Curly Joe is different in that he is a genuinely simple stooge. Are his solutions to problems the most wild or creative? No. Is he a very spontaneous character? No. But that is what I love about Curly Joe. He boils the act down to its basics. Curly Joe makes me laugh by doing the simple things, making simple yet predictable mistakes, and it really works for the Three Stooges act. Curly Joe is a pretty funny guy.
For tomorrow. Or you'll answer to me. Now sound off.
Okay, Chief. Hello, everybody. It gives me great pleasure on this monotonous occasion.
Hey. It's momentous. Momentous.
Now, what are you giving me 2 words for when I'm having so much trouble with 1? Yeah.
The last place was the 10th place we were thrown out of. So watch your P's and Q's.
Right.
Wait a minute, fellas. Get a load of this.
What?
Lonely retired gentleman desires boarders. Home cooking.
Home cooking. Where is this idyllic habitation?
Oh, those kind of words you can say.
Yeah.
Why, where is it?
Look. Gotcha. Hey, I got him, Mo. A tourist from Mars.
Yeah, sure, with a card from the Diners Club.
Like Joe Besser before him, Curly Joe also changed the pacing of the Three Stooges act. The work the Stooges did with Curly Joe was probably the slowest pacing of any of their work. Now there's nothing wrong with this. I like the pacing of the Curly Joe era. Slow, easygoing, yet still funny. This is partly due to the Stooges' ever-increasing age. They weren't as young as they used to be, but they still knew how to be funny, and that's what's really important.
Go on, get changed. And you be my patient.
Oh, no. You're not going to practice on me. Absolutely, positively, no. Wait a minute. Can't we talk this over?
All right, that's all right. Doctor, this gentleman has a terrible toothache.
Oh, yes, I'll take care of it. Open your mouth, sir. Which one is it?
You're the dentist. You find it. I'm no stool pigeon.
Oh, yes. Yes. Do sit down, sir.
Wait a minute.
Sit down already.
Here,
Come on. You. Come on. Open your mouth. That's it. Cotton. This food again.
That's it.
Just take the strain off the goblet side.
You can get more than that in.
Oh, shit. Oh, nurse, please, administer the anesthetic.
Anesthetic,
Yes.
Hold still, the anesthetic. Put your sleep, that's it.
See that you get a raise for that, nurse.
Thank you, doctor.
Oh, let me out of here. Don't you come near, I'll back you up right. Take it easy now. He's out. Oh, we got a madman here.
Now the Curly Joe era is considered a divisive chapter of the Three Stooges' legacy, similar to the Joe Besser era, and it is simply because the Curly Joe era is different from previous eras. This was a unique time for the Stooges. Their main audience had changed. The way that they presented their act had changed, and the Stooges had to adapt. This changed the act a lot, and people used to the faster pace and more wild Champ and Curly eras found it hard to adapt to Curly Joe. For those who struggled to enjoy this underrated era of the Stooges, I recommend trying to change your perspective. Don't try to enjoy Curly Joe's work the same way you would enjoy earlier works from the Stooges. Instead of ignoring this era for its simplicity, learn to enjoy it for the simple and easygoing humor it brings to the act. I'm sure if you do this, like me, you will find Curly Joe to be quite the funny Stooge.
Thank you very much. And now for that wonderful and extraordinary trick, the disappearing bowl.
Disappearing bowl.
Professor, please.
Oh,
I thank you.
bowl trick right there. Hey.
Water?
Water. Hey.
That's the water.
The bowl trick.
Now then. Nothing that side, nothing on that side. Over the top we go. Now then. Ready, aim. Fire! Oh, you
The gun is up.
got the wrong gun.
Easy now.
Here now.
Easy.
1, 2, 3.
Hey.
Bowl has disappeared.
Good.
Thank
Hey, that's
you.
a very good. Hey, how about this?
What's the matter with you? Hide that. Hide that. That always happens. And now, for our famous milk trick.
Milk trick.
The milk trick, if you please. Did you have your milk this morning?
No, coffee.
You're supposed to say milk.
But I had milk in my coffee.
Oh, well, that'll do. Bow your head, sir. There we are. Very nice. Oh, get out of the way.
Next time you watch the Stooges, I want you to watch Curly Joe closely and appreciate how he boils down the act to its basics, giving us a funny, yet uniquely simple and predictable type of humor.
No, it's too cold. Thank you, sir.
Every time I hear that weasel tone, something pops inside of me.
Just dropped in. We knew you was coming to bake the cake.
I oughta. You oughta what? I oughta be a little more careful. There's a booth down the hall. Well, what are we waiting for? Down the hall. Mo, where's your hat? Head is off. My head is off. Oh, there I am. And as pretty as a picture.
Yeah, but name.
Oh, get that way. Whoa, boy. What are you gonna do?
Who's sleeping in the lower?
You are. Who is sleeping in the lower?
Well, who is?
You are.
What is that? $50.
Some recipe. Quiet. Get to work.